Later, in this lesson, we'll be looking at the forms of Latin's basic linking verb, sum. Now to start, we'll have to recall last lesson when we looked at the forms of verbs like laudo, where it goes o, as, at, amus, atis, ant for endings for the present tense. Now just like how in that lesson, we learned that the forms of the English linking verb to be are irregular, they will also be irregular in Latin. To that end, we'll have to learn specifically the forms of the linking verb sum as forms themselves, not as endings. So to do that, let's start by setting up a chart similar to the ones that we did in chapter 2, with singular on the left, plural on the right, and then first person, second person, third person down the left. On the right-hand side, we'll make a similar table for the English translations of these forms of sum. So first of all, the first person singular in Latin will be sum. This will translate to the English I am. The first person plural will be sumus, which will translate to the English we are. The second person singular will be es, and the second person plural in Latin will be estis. Both of these will translate to English as you are, because English doesn't differentiate between you singular or you plural. Finally, we already know the third person forms from the first chapter. Those are est and sunt. And as we should recall, those will translate into English as he, she, or it is, and they are. Now remember, since these are linking verbs, then after these linking verbs, we'll get predicate nominatives in the nominative case. For example, if we had the sentence, we are poets in English, then we would simply translate we are, as the chart says, into sumus, and then when translating the word poets, we would start with the base of the word poeta, which would simply be poet, and then we would add the nominative plural ending onto it, because it's a predicate nominative, ae. So, all in all, this would simply translate as sumus poetae. Let's see if you can translate the sentence, I am a sailor, all on your own. Pause and try that now. If you translated it correctly, then you should have seen that I am would translate to Latin as sum. And then, for sailor, we would start with the stem, naut, and then we would add the nominative singular ending because it's a predicate nominative. Now remember, we'll only use sum, or any form of it, when it is acting as a linking verb rather than a helping verb. So only when it's all on its own. Let's take, for example, the following two sentences. You are a farmer, and you are fighting. In the first one, you is our subject, are is the verb, and farmer is a predicate nominative. In the second sentence, you is still the subject, but are fighting is our full verb. So that means that since are is a helping verb in the second sentence, because fighting is the main verb, then we're going to ignore the word are when we translate it. So the first sentence would translate es agricola with the form of sum, and the second sentence would simply translate pugnas, pugn being our stem, and then as being our second person singular ending. That's it for linking verbs this chapter. Later.